What's up, guys? So, kind of realized that I had already set up the analytics during the project setup that I did right at the beginning. And really, it was just creating a project in Mixpanel and adding the environmental variable, adding the API keys to the environmental variable files. So that's all already done. I was going to show you how to do that, but it's very simple. Anyway, it's working. Basically, we're just tracking all our page views, and we got a staging and production environment. So nothing ready to show there. So analytics check. Next up, we're going to look at, actually, we're pretty much done with our app now. Now we need to release it into the wild, and how we do that, just with the boilerplate, is create a PR from develop and merge it in. So we've got quite a few commits in here. Obviously, it's basically the entire project. But once lint and testing pass, I'm gonna go ahead and merge it in. I already know it's working because we've deployed it. So usually I would also go and test it in staging, but I'm already pretty happy with that. So I'm just gonna pause until this is done, and then we can merge and see what happens next. Okay, so our linting and testing is actually run again, and we can go ahead and merge. So when I merge these PRs, I like to do a rebase because we make all of our commits, nice and pretty, and we want to see that in the master history. I don't just want one commit merged in. So let's do it. All that work, 2 weeks. So we've been recording this over 2 weeks. I will definitely be calculating the duration of the videos to see how much time we actually took. And of course account for like that 1 hour setup time and a little bit of planning here and there. But I really just try to keep things real. So that'll be super interesting. And my goal was to build this thing in a weekend, basically. So I'm hoping that we're under 16 hours and we can stretch that a bit. So I might actually just go do that quickly. Let me go. Cool, so I just opened up my videos in Loom, which is what I use to record them, and I just created a little, because they don't actually show you a duration, which is a feature I've requested. So I just grabbed all these elements, grabbed all the durations from them in the entire list, and then summed them and divided by 60, and we are on 15.2 hours so far, 15.22. So that's not bad at all. So 16 hours to set up and complete the project. I would say goal achieved. I mean, it's quite a beast too if you think about it. It's not just a puzzle game. It's like the app, the back end, the admin app, all the environments, and just all of that stuff that just makes things work out of the box. So, but let's go carry on. We were busy merging our PR, which is merged now. And we should see an action running for the release. And that's basically going to go and run these scripts again for some reason. I suppose it's just checking in master. Anything that's committed there, we'll lint it again. We'll test it again, and then we'll create a release. And that's just going to assign a version, essentially, to this new bunch of code. And does it using semantic releases, and that's all automatic. We don't have to think about, was this a major, minor, or patch? And then it's going to create a tag and a new release for it, which you'll see here. So I'm just going to go back here, wait for that to complete, and then I'll unpause. Okay, so our release is finished running, and now if we go back here, we'll see that we now have our first version. Woohoo! Brilliant. So this is in the wild, living at the production URL. And we have site not... Oh, wait. We've created the release. I got ahead of myself there, but we haven't actually deployed it because this portion is manual. So how do we do that again? To deploy the release manually. So it looks like our setup did not include a critical part of the deploy production workflow file. So we had missed this piece, which is just basically saying basically this little piece of code is allowing us to trigger this workflow manually. And that's what we're missing right now, because we already have the tag, we've created the release, and that's why I was so confused when I came here. I was like, I'm supposed to see a button where I can trigger this release. So I'm just gonna go ahead and push that quickly, and we'll probably need to create a new release now. Or this, oh, this will be interesting. Yeah, so we're just updating the build. Allow deploy production manually. So this shouldn't create a new release. Because it's a build commit, I'm hoping it doesn't trigger that. So let's just see, we're gonna have to create a new pull request. Could maybe just commit directly. Nah, let's do it the proper way. And okay, yes, let's do that rather. Basically, I haven't pulled the latest master, which already has a bunch of develop in it. Check out develop, get rebase. Oopsie. I was supposed to say get rebase master, which this command I think was doing anyway. Cool, so our one commits here, good stuff. Create the PR. Let's go fix that issue quickly. Not even gonna bother with linting and testing. We're just gonna go wild. Okay. Our actions release should trigger, but I think it's not gonna trigger a actual release. But now we've got the workflow. That's the button I was looking for. So what I want to do here is basically take the latest tag, and it's quite handy having it manual because a lot of the times you want to you want the release to be automatic, but the deployment you might want to do manually. So just in case you want to prepare your customers or change log, or have like a mass email ready. So I've just wired it up like this, and now it just gives me more control, and all I have to do here is run it and hope it runs. There we go. So we're deploying. We are deploying to production. I'm gonna open that and just pause for a while. Actually, while that's running, I don't think I've set up the Firebase project for the production, so I think it'll be useful to actually walk you through that. Effectively, this should all be set up already. Functions, Firestore, storage, that's all good. Our authentication though is not set up, so we need to go ahead and allow email password for our admin user, as well as anonymous auth for our public users. I think we're going to need to keep that enabled for now, and then add a user for myself, and the password is 123123 if anyone wants to know. Jokes, you won't be able to use that because I'm immediately going to reset my password. I'll go grab that, reset it, and then I have a user that we can log in with, because we want to, once this is deployed, actually do another smoke screen test and make sure everything's working properly, and then we know for sure we are ready for user testing. But custom domain first. Okay, cool. So let me go and reset my password and I'll be right back. Okay, so basically our release command went through and it's reused the same release, basically, version 1. And that's because we had prefixed it with the build commit message. And that says, don't create a new release, just reuse the existing one. Our users don't need to know about these build changes. So what I did is manually deployed via our little new button that we got again. I went, VE1. It's triggered a new run, but this has now failed because there's an error. Requested entity was not found. And I suspect it has something to do with my hosting. Because when I went back to the Firebase project, I don't think we ever added a site for the admin app. We've got sites for the web app, and that is using it. Here we can say what the pics say: production, hosting. The admin app is using something like this. The web app is using this. I can see the target here, but no target for the admin app. So let's go just pop this in quickly, and I'm hoping that's our issue. Okay, then we can open it, and here we go. Okay, so that's added. I want to go ahead and rerun this just by going rerun failed jobs, and we'll see what happens next. But just in terms of this one over here, if you ever did want to use the boilerplate, I've just created something pretty new and snazzy. it's a bit of a setup script that does all of this stuff for you. You don't actually have to bother with anything Firebase, except for a few manual steps. And I just recently did it, and it's working so nicely. It basically just automates all that stuff. So what it does is creates your staging and production Firebase projects. It also creates automatically creates the apps for your app, website, storybook, and then in both environments. And it's working amazingly. I'll probably record a video of this in action. Yeah, it's taken my setup time. My record was 1 hour, 12 minutes. It's now like 10 minutes. So yeah, pretty awesome. Anyway, I'll share that some other time. Let's just pause here and we'll hope this one goes through. Okay, so it has deployed. Let's see. Did we make it? Yes, I think it's working. Yeah, okay, we live in production. Brilliant. Okay, so we already created our admin user, I think. Yes, I did that. Let me go ahead and log in and just pause while I do that so you don't see my password. Woohoo, I'm in. Okay, so let's just do a quick smoke test and make sure we can create a puzzle for today's day, just like we did on staging, but this will obviously just allow us to be doubly sure. I spar with, and I'm so stoked to be able to actually create a new game because I'm getting sick of this one. I mean, a new phrase, not the game. I love the game. I spar with my little R is just getting a bit annoying. Success. Game over. Save that. Please work. Obviously uploading the images now. Storing the documents. Yes, it worked. And can we load it back in? Woohoo! That's great. So now let's go and play our game. Yes. Okay, lovely. So I'm gonna go I'm just gonna go straight through for the win here. Spar with my little all I want to test here is that our backend function is being called. Woohoo! We did it! Live in production and staging v1.1, 1.0.0. And I should probably hide this because these commits don't really make any sense to the public. No one can actually access them. Maybe I can make this prettier in the future. Does look pretty cool though. I love our styling. Awesome, guys. That's it. We did it. We created a new release. We deployed it to production. There were a few teething issues that will be resolved in the future. Automagically with my new setup script. But yeah, I think that's great, and all that in a weekend's work. I think the final thing I'll do is before we move on to user testing, which I won't record. I'm just gonna ask my family for some input, family and friends, but we need to add the custom domain. So I think I'll save a whole video for that. That is pretty easy. It's about 5 minutes work, but it's, pretty particular too. So I think it's worth going through that. Awesome. Cool. And then goodbye in Norwegian. Ha det bra.